Gentlelady yields back. I will yield to myself. First of all, you know, I had prepared remarks. I'm going to use a few of them. They were thoughtful and methodical, et cetera, but I got to do my thing here. And I want to start out by thanking the FAA for the work that is done. There's a lot of good people who work very hard, give it their best, and do their job. I have 1,600 of them at the tech center in my district alone, but there are a lot more than that throughout the country. I want to thank Secretary Duffy. Maybe I didn't hear it because I've been in and out, but for the work that he's doing, man, talk about a tough job. Guy comes in first 100 days, and all of this is thrown on his lap, and he's dealing with it, and he's focused, and he's fired up, and the acting administrator as well. They're doing a job. I want to talk about, this is a tough week for New Jersey, to be honest with you. It's been a little tough few weeks for New Jersey between what happened in Newark at the detention center at the Delaney Center, which I'm chairing my own committee meeting on that. We're not going to bring that up here. And then Newark Airport. It proves a point, and it's not the employees, but it proves a point. We transferred air traffic control from New York City to Philadelphia. And this was under the Biden-Buttigieg administration. Let's be clear that we did this. We did that knowing that we had corroded copper wire, that we didn't have a STAR system in Philadelphia, that we were short of air traffic controllers there, that the main runway in Newark was being worked on, the main runway of two main runways there and redone. We did that again in the past administration when there was bad technology all around. You know, I had the opportunity a couple times at the Atlantic City International Airport to actually look at their air traffic controllers. And these folks in the last administration, they were using floppy disks. They couldn't even get them at the way that supplies are normally gotten. They got to go to like discount stores somewhere for people that have aged technology that nobody's using anymore. That's not your fault. I'm not blaming you for that. And what were we worried about? I'm sorry, I'm going to be the one to say it. We worried about in the last administration, man, I didn't hear a lot of talk about improving infrastructure, about America being #1 in the world as far as infrastructure. You know what I heard about? I heard about, and yeah, there was DEI. I heard about what pronouns do we use? I heard we had to change the name of the cockpit. I heard that we had to be concerned about bathrooms and how we dealt with them and what was a men's room, a women's room, transgender, whatever it was. I heard we were discussing tree equity. I don't even know what tree equity is, but we were discussing it. We were discussing racist roads and bridges. I'm talking about infrastructure in general, but it applies here. What we should be worried about, what you all are worried about, is national security, public safety, and making America #1 in the air again. That's the real world. That's what we were dealing with in the last 4 years. That's what Secretary Duffy and the administrator have to clean up now, what all of you have to do, what all our good employees have to do. Damn it, we should stay focused on what the real issues are. That's the job of the FAA. It isn't all this other, and yes, it was, woke crap that doesn't belong there. And I don't mean to be crude, but I'm telling the truth. So, with that being said, Mr. McIntosh, and thank you guys. I mean, you've been there a long time. You got to be tired. You really do. I hope they're feeding you coffee at least. And you're staying awake. Why was air traffic shifted from New York to Philadelphia when their systems were and still are in such disrepair? And I know we've already gotten some fiber in, we've done some other stuff, we're gonna get the STAR system, et cetera. But why was that shift really, did that have to be made?
We did have to make that shift, sir. And again, I also wanna say one thing, because I don't wanna do a disservice to the controllers at N90 or the ones who are currently at Philadelphia C. They do a phenomenal job.
I agree.
Every single day. They work the most congested airspace under some high-stress situations. They're phenomenal. Our concern with Philadelphia or with the Newark TRACON and N90 was we had some real recruiting issues for that facility. Trying to find highly qualified controllers to go and certify was a problem for us. we were largely dependent upon the academy to give us students to work that most congested and most complex airspace in the world. And we were only seeing a success rate between 20 and 25% for these academy graduates. Me, I don't want to send someone who's straight off the street to go to the most complicated airspace to try to learn air traffic. It's not a formula for success. We took along at where the current staffing was at N90 and where it was 10 years before, and it was going the wrong direction despite a decade of incentives. A change was needed to change the trajectory of what that facility was going to look like. And what I mean by that is we wanted to make sure the staffing was going to get better. By moving the airspace, we had a lot of people who were not interested in going to N90, interested in going into the new Philadelphia Area C. As a matter of fact, all of our classes that we have scheduled, or this pipeline I'm speaking to, is filled between now and the middle of 2026 with experienced controllers to go learn this airspace, and they're excited to go do that. That's the reason why we moved the airspace, was to make sure that we actually had future growth and a pipeline for this new area. As far as the infrastructure and what you're seeing at Philadelphia Area C right now, I think this speaks to the current condition of our infrastructure. You're seeing it take its progression, and now it's starting to show cracks. We're starting to see our redundant systems that were always reliable before starting to fail. And we need to start putting in some of the new infrastructure requests that Secretary Duffy is speaking to, as far as the new fiber lines, as far as a dedicated STARS line to Philadelphia Area C, ensuring that the frequencies work and that the controllers there have the best equipment available. So I do believe we take a look at the current infrastructure and where it's cracking, and we improve it to where it is now. But to answer your question, yes, I do believe that airspace move was required. I received a very tough question, which was, would you, knowing what you know now, would you have moved the airspace back last summer? And my answer was yes. And the reason why it was yes was because sometimes the right decision is hard, but you have to stand by those hard decisions, knowing that it was the right call.
I thank you, Mr. McIntosh, and I got to tell you, we are now, in this administration, going to focus money towards recruitment, towards incentivizing people to come in, towards infrastructure, and doing the job that needs to be done. With that, I will yield to Ms. Titus, the gentlelady from Nevada.